Okay, folks, and welcome back to another fantastic edition of Opal Presents Know Your Pros. And today's guest, of course, we've got Ernie Moreno Jr. of Heritage Valley Air Company. And Heritage Valley is Fillmore's choice for heating and air up the canyon in here, Ventura County, California. Ernie, it is such a pleasure, man, to have you here as a guest.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, Ernie, I'm stoked to have you, man. I mean, like, I am sort of new to knowing you. I'll be frank with that. But from the very beginning of when I first called you to ask you if you'd be a guest here on this show, you were so enthusiastic and kind and understanding from the jump. And I know that your business is here in Fillmore, which is, a family town. It's a blue collar, hard working town, right? And I know that you're taking this call today from your store that does clothing, not just for, men and women, but for workers, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible what you've built. Not only do you have an heating and air company, but you have this store that we're interviewing you out of today. So, like, this is a really neat journey for you. You're an entrepreneur through and through. You happen to be a guy who knows a thing or two about heating and air conditioning, but like, why was it in the first place that you decided to start this air company? And then, like, how did you start this store too, man? I mean, like, tell me the story of like how Ernie became like Ernie the businessman here.
Well, I started doing air conditioning back in '98, right when I got out of high school, like 2 weeks out of high school. Before that, during high school, from 15 to 18 years old, my dad had me working in the fields. So I was doing irrigation systems, during while kids were having spring break. I was out there cutting, trees down and hauling the lumber away. You know what I mean? Logs away, piling stuff up. I was in the grind. So my dad always had me working. If it was work, he taught me the value of work and what you can get out of it. So, and a lot came from not just from my dad telling me to, get ready for your future, make something out of yourself, but his workers too. When I used to work with them, excuse me, his farm workers, is the guys that he was supervised, would always tell me, get out of this field, look for something that's going to get you out of what you're in right now. Don't work the rest of your life what we're doing. And those guys, a lot of respect to those farm workers, and I still see them, and I still, have a great time when I have conversations with them. They're like family to me, and then from there on, my brother-in-law, which he was already doing air conditioning coming out of the military. So he got hired at this air conditioning place, and they needed green guys, helpers, grunt labor guys. So my brother was like, you know what? They're hiring right now with no experience. They just basically need guys to move stuff around, learn as you go. And I think it'd be a good time for you to go and check it out. So I went, I applied, and I told them, hey, I got no experience and no kind of nothing. I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a ranch. So all I know labor I know how to do. And he's all right, come in the next day. And from there, he just took off, and I've been doing air conditioning ever since. It's about been over 25 years now. And it's been working out great, tremendously. So I can't complain, no complaints.
Well, so Heritage Valley, like the business, when did you decide to start that thing? When you bought your first truck, when you became the guy who had branded t-shirts, right? An actual brand out there in the
Yeah.
wild. What year was
Well,
that?
well, when I started, like I said, when I started doing air conditioning, it was very hard, this trade that I got into. I had no clue, nothing, not even what certain tools were called. So as soon as I learned, when they threw me in this company, we were just doing normal houses. They were throwing me into Bel Air. We were going to, mansions, multi-million-dollar homes. That's where I learned. I learned to do this custom stuff before I learned how to do these regular homes. So I got to learn how to do electrical, how to do plumbing, how to do framing, how to do HVAC, everything at this one place doing, mansions in Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, North Ranch. And then after that, I went to a commercial. After I learned how to do everything in residential that I could possibly learn, I said, you know what, I'm going to go learn commercial. So I went a couple commercial places that were very great places to work for. And then after that, I said, you know what, it was like about 2008, 2009, when all that stuff was happening, when people were just losing their homes, were losing work. And then, I was to the point where, I already had made up my mind and I was already studying for my license. I actually had passed my test already, and I told my old boss, I said, you know what, if you're gonna lay somebody off, lay me off. I'm ready to go anyways.
Mm.
And so it's better lay me off than to lay someone else who really needs it. I already got work lined up. I was gonna tell you anyways. Next year I'll probably be out the door, but is I'll leave sooner to save somebody else's job. So I did, and I haven't looked back ever since, and I've been doing it for myself ever since 2009, and it's worked out great. Just having good contacts, good real estate agents that really threw my name out there, and it grew.
Mm. Well, that's what it's all about, man. It's about the community. It's about building
Yeah,
a name for yourself. I mean, especially behind a brand like Heritage Valley, right? Like
yeah.
that's really neat. I always want to know, especially with as small of a place as Fillmore, right? You don't just, of course, service like Fillmore. You're going down into Ventura. You're going out into Santa Clarita. You told me the other day that you were quoting a job out in Tustin, which is a heck of a drive, man. I mean, like getting out there is nuts. But that tells me that you've got a pretty wide service area, right? Anything you can do to help your customer with a service call or an install, there's no distance too far. Well, maybe, there could be, but you'll go that extra mile for people is what I'm trying to say here. So why in your mind then, Ernie, should folks call Heritage Valley and your business over the bigger guys that might be out there that, could be your competition? Tell us that story.
Well, um, honestly, for like I said, I'm a small guy company. I'm trying to grow. There's only one way to do this with effort. And if you don't give no effort, you're never gonna find out whether you can do it or not. Um, and then I'm just trying to do something better for myself that can also bring back to my community. Because every time I do a certain percentage in the Fillmore community, I like to donate it back to sports. Sports program, which is the little league where I played, or football programs, the cheer, anything I can that brings out revenue from that community, I give back. So not just the Fillmore, I've donated to the Ventura area, St. Bonnie. I've donated to Moore Park College. I've donated to Santa Paula High School. I donated to Santa Paula Little League. You can name it. I've donated to so many places where the community keeps giving me work. I keep giving it back to the youth organization. So that's been helping me out tremendously. And then the other day going out to LA, I really don't like going out I do service the whole Ventura. That's my backyard. Fillmore is where I grew up. Ventura County is my backyard. Um, I do a lot of Los Angeles. I do a lot of Santa Barbara. I've gone out of Bakersfield all the way up to Victorville, Orange County. But like I said, I do certain projects. Like I won't go all the way to Orange County just to change a filter. I'm sorry, I can't do that. But, but you know what I mean? When I have a customer that has multi-units or multiple units, I'll go out of my way to help out that customer, especially if that customer's going out of the way to keep constantly referring me his work to his friends, his family, and everybody. I'll make sure I go out of my way for them, just like take care of them like if they're my family.
Yeah.
So, and then with this new job with Shane, it's just about being, trying to make more business moves, smarter moves, starting to make more contacts. I seen what I see what kind of service professional he is and what kind of, trade he's involved in. And I know that he's just by his character, you can tell this guy's a really good businessman. He's communicating with everybody when you speak. I mean, you can tell when people are good socializing people that are out there reaching customers and taking care of people. So when he told me I got this job for you, and he explained it to me and everything, and then he told me the situation he was in, that they needed more efficiency. Let me go look at it. So, and
Yeah.
that's what that came about. Even though I had to fight traffic for a couple of hours, so it was all worth it. And on my way back, stopped downtown, got some food downtown with my other store, picked up some clothes, and got some heartburn. And then I took off back to Fillmore, and I proceeded with more service calls.
Oh man, well, working with Shane, Shane better watch his butt, man. I mean, it might turn into Heritage Valley Air Heating and Solar if he's not too careful, right?
Yeah. So you know what? I'm it's kind of glad that I ran into Shane. Now I'm gonna. I always get asked, we know a solar guy. I don't know a solar guy. I've gotten asked so many times for solar guys. And then, so I'm happy to say I'm gonna have some contacts for him coming his way now, referrals. So at least I know who to send them to.
Well, that's what it's all about here, man. On Know Your
Yeah.
Pros. It's about referrals. It's about businesses knowing other businesses. It's about
Yes.
your prospects and clients knowing who you are, who Ernie Moreno
Yes.
Jr. is. So Ernie, we're running short on time here. I want to ask you if folks are out there looking to get their system serviced, if they're looking for a new install, if they've got a commercial property maybe that might not be as efficient as they would like it to be, how can they get in touch with you? And where can they find you, maybe out there in the world and maybe online too? Give us that story.
Well, to answer one of the other questions earlier before I answer this one, why they should choose me over. I'm not saying I'm the best out there. There's always gonna be someone more intelligent, more educated. Always, this industry is growing. It's always, I always have to keep up to date with schooling. I'm going and enrolling myself in school every once in a while as well. So this trade is, it's always growing. It's always changing. Codes are always going, changing all the time. So I have to keep up with everything. But the most I think I would say that would stand me out from everybody is just honesty. Honesty. I'll give you you ask for an honest opinion of my service, I'll give it to you. I'll give you options with my opinion. This is what you're looking at to repair it. This is what you're looking at to replace it, and this is the benefits of both. And because to me, I just can't go and say, like if I go to the AC unit and I can say, no, I can fix that, a new capacitor, a cleaning, a new filter, I'll get it up and running right now and save this people some money. And I'll tell them, your unit's about this much old. I can get it running for this amount of dollars, or do you want me to? Because a lot of times people will go, I need an estimate. I got an AC company over here telling me I need a new unit. They told me it's already out. So I go out there and assess the situation. I tell them, look, this is your option. I can fix it for this much, or we can replace it for this much with this much warranty. And a lot of times, they thank me for their honesty and they're telling me, you can actually save it. I'm like, yeah. I'll end up turning on sometimes these systems and they'll tell me, Ernie, just replace it then. Just for being honest, and it's been working out tremendously. Just give your honest opinion, and that goes a long ways,
Right.
At
Well,
least for me.
honesty, philanthropy, community service too, like with all the sports stuff that you do,
Yeah.
man. It's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I wish I could keep doing it. I wish I could keep doing it, but my knees don't allow me to do it anymore. But
Right.
yeah, it was fun coaching for a lot of years, but like I said, just my knees can't keep up anymore. But still, it's fun to see all these kids that I see growing up through high school and all that. And still, family still call me Coach Ernie. As I go everywhere in downtown, my wife's like, would you coach that kid too? Yeah, I coach that kid. You coach that kid too? Yeah, you coached everybody. I'm like, yeah, I did. So
You
it
got
works out great.
a little army of kids who
Yeah.
can be technicians of yours if going into baseball doesn't work out in
Yeah.
the future. Going into the trades is really important.
Yeah.
So that's great. Ernie, we do got to wrap this thing up, man. But I know that your phone number is on Google, right? I don't
Yes.
necessarily see a website, but if folks want to call you, it's 805-524-5555. And I don't
Yes.
know if
The
you want
most
to give your cell
easiest
phone
phone.
out here too, but I've been texting you.
Yeah, he's been texting me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the most easiest. That phone number, if it's 805-524-5555, is the most easiest number to remember. And but if someone's not in the office, that line will get forwarded either to the secretary, Jessica, or to myself. If we're not in the office, so someone's gonna answer the line. If you're not gonna get an answer, you're gonna get a text, you're gonna get an email, you're gonna get something right away. So we base our service as, you call us, we're gonna respond. Not 2 days, 3 days later. We want to get you taken care of that same day and get your AC running up and running that same day you call.
Love that, man. Love that. Ernie, thank you so much for coming on here, man, and telling your
Yeah.
story. You got a great business out there in Fillmore, and I hope that today is full of that work that you love doing, man. The work hog that you are at Heritage Heating and Air, man. Oh boy.
Yeah. No worries. Like I say, when anybody needs anything, air conditioning, air duct cleaning, anything that pushes air, heats air, cools air, we'll take care of you.
Ernie, thank you, man, so much for taking the time today for being a guest here on Know Your Pros.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Know Your Pros.